All right, we are live once again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics, and this is the second video of the day. The first one I just finished doing is my 4 books that I'm going to be sending off to PGX, so hopefully you will check out this video. And this video will be the 2 books I will be sending to get graded with EGS. About 3 months ago at this point, I had Tony, the owner of EGS, contact me. They said they've been watching my channel, and he subscribed to my channel for a long time. We actually talked back in the days I was in New York, but nothing ever came out of it at that time, and that's perfectly fine because I believe, you know, timing is everything and things work out when they're supposed to. But Tony was kind enough to contact me recently and said he's been watching my PGX videos and he would like to do something similar. So he allows me to send in 2 books every month to get graded for free. And like my other deal with PGX, I do not have any contract signed. He knew very well in advance how I do business, and he appreciates the fact that I want to be honest and share my sincere, opinions about my experiences without having to hold back or being told what I can and cannot say. So he was very respectful about that, and I appreciate, and I will work with businesses who want to do things like that. So he allows me to send in 2 books to get graded, pressed and dry cleaned if needed, and signature verification if applicable, because like PGX and CBCS, EGS also does the verifications for signatures. So for me, it's a no-brainer to use the companies that will, if you already have a book signed. I mean, I don't understand people that send in already signed books to CGC and they get a green label. I mean, I love when people do that because I buy those books for half of what their value is worth, and I crack them open and get them graded by other companies that do signature verifications. So I love it when people do that, but I don't understand why somebody would do that, because the logic, I guess, would be everybody is programmed to believe that CGC is number 1, which it is for most parts, but it's not always number 1. CGC is not number 1 for books that are already signed. You're not going to get the most value, because like I've said, and I have a lot of videos where I bought a CGC book that was signed with a green label that said writing on the cover, because it was not witnessed, for half of the value. Cracked it open, got the same grade that CGC had, and I was able to have it worth double, if not more, than what I paid for it. So when you're grading books, the best company may not be the best company for you. You have to go beyond what everybody peer pressures people into thinking. So that makes no sense to me. So I love the fact that EGS contacted me, Tony from EGS contacted me, knows how I run my business and my YouTube, appreciates my style, and knowing that I don't have 5,000 viewers, because I told him straight out, are you sure you want somebody like me, because I'm going to get maybe 30 viewers on the video. He appreciated my honesty. Like, I'm not trying to upsell and be unrealistic. I like working with companies like that. Now, whether you will or have ever used EGS before, I'm not here to tell you who to use, but I am sharing possibilities of a company that you may not have been aware of or would like to try. And if you'd like to try, there is not only a benefit for me, which is I get the 2 comics sent in every month for free. The benefit for them, because they'll have 3 or 4 people that watch my videos, maybe utilize their services. But the benefit for you guys is if you use the code, there's 2 codes, but it's for the same thing. If you send 10 or more books to EGS, if you use the code We Love Comics Free Press, and also the code We Love Comics, 2 separate codes, you will get one of the 10 books pressed for free. And like I said in the other video, I always highly recommend, unless you don't care, specify which one you would prefer to be pressed. Otherwise, they'll just pick one randomly. And using the code We Love Comics will get you $5 off your first order. So you're getting 2 things with EGS if you use those codes. You get one of the books pressed for free, and you get $5 off your total order by using those codes. So it benefits you, benefits me, it benefits them. That's how the world should be, where everybody benefits, not just one particular group or one particular individual. You know what I'm saying. So 2 books, very happy with that, and I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to tell you what I paid for them, what I predict the prices will be, and we'll go for there. But before I do, I want to thank the 2 people out of the 7 that have already been kind enough to hit the like button. GT Comics, one of my moderators, is in the house in the live chat. We got Rogue Book 28. Welcome. Good to see you as well. And of course, Life is Good. Always appreciate you here. So if you see what I just put in the live chat, if you're interested in ordering any of my comic book mystery boxes, and I actually sold my first one in over 4 years. I used to sell a lot of them. But the first one in 4 years, to one of my subscribers, who I'm also subscribed to, Jacob Morgan. So check out his video if you haven't seen it. He bought a $2,500 mystery box, and he made a video revealing, you know, what the books are. But if you order any of my mystery boxes, doesn't matter what level, doesn't matter how many, if you order any of them between now and the end of the month, which of course is October 31st, you will get a free book automatically added to your package, because each of the packages, anywhere from a basic package of $25 and a $5,000 platinum package, each one will be 20 comics in each of those packages. You'll get another one for free. You don't have to mention it. There's no code. I will automatically do it. So basically, the higher valued package tier level you get, the better the free comic will be. So if you bought a $5,000 package, you know, you're not going to get Raggedy Ann and Andy number 75. So you'll get something decent. Now, it may not be the same level as the 20 other comics, but you won't be disappointed, especially when it's free. So check it out. The link is in the description as well, but I did post it in the live chat, so hopefully you will check that out. Let me know what you think about my AI art. I absolutely love this one. I wanted to do basically goblins in a cave, a crystal cave, and I just love the way it came out. So if you like it, you can hit the thumbs up for that, or you can leave a comment in the comment section. I always love what you think. All of my thumbnails are my own AI art. I've been doing that now for a couple of months, and that's what I'm going to do from now on. So most of you are here for the comics. So without further ado, let me show them. No major key books or anything like that, but these are both signed books. So because they do in-house signature verification, to me it's a no-brainer to have them get these graded. First one, we got X-Force number 4, which is actually the 3rd appearance of Deadpool. So not a major significance. I remember buying books like this when I was a kid. Now this one I did not buy, this particular book I did not buy back in the days, but it is signed by Rob Liefeld, right there, his chicken scratch. Now, I have several of his autographs. I actually had him autograph one of my books personally back in the 90s when I went to a New York Comic Con back in the days, so I know what his signature looks like. Did not come with a COA, but I am safe to say that this is a true, authentic signature, but nothing's guaranteed, so we're going to let them authenticate it. I paid a grand total of $4.99 for this book. It is a high-grade book. I always recommend books to get pressed and dry cleaned, because you never know. But this is a clean book. So I paid $4.99 for this book, already signed. Oh, and GT Key Comics says, I was meaning to tell you, Chris, your AI art is cool. That last eyeball piece was creepy and cool. Thank you. I always like to try and do something different. I don't want it to just always be a generic superhero or an image of Superman or something. I like to kind of mix it up a little bit. One of the things, I don't know if you notice or not, with the PGX and EGS videos, there's 4 comics that I send with PGX, and I make sure to nowadays make sure there's 4 images of something. And with the EGS, it's 2 comics. So if you notice right here in the image, there's 2 of the goblins. So that's kind of an Easter egg. I wonder how many people even notice that. But I do that for all the videos. I kind of like to change it up. So thank you. I appreciate that. So for $4.99, And from what I understand, I mean, like I said, I haven't been in a Comic-Con since the 90s, early 90s. Back in those days, signatures were for free. I know Rob Liefeld will charge for his signature. Now, I don't know if that's every comic, but I do know if you ask him to sign New Mutants 98 or 87, he's going to charge you. So, $5 for a signed book. Yes, it's not New Mutants 98. This is not Batman #1. It's X-Force #4. But for $4.99, already signed, to me, I could easily quadruple my money on that if I wanted to sell it. Or it could be in a mystery box someday. Who knows? But this is a higher grade book. I'm going to give it more of a range because with these books, for some reason, you never know. So I predict between a 9.2 up to a possible 9.8. Now, I've looked at it and I've seen one or two pressable defects. That's why I'm just going as low as 9.2. They are non-color breaking, which means they can come out, but it doesn't guarantee they will come out. So that's why I don't say, oh, automatic 9.8. So I'm giving a little bit of a larger range. So it's a 9.2 to 9.8. Even if it came back a 9.0, to spend $5 on a signed book, I think it's worth taking the chance on. You may disagree. You may have never done it. You could leave a message in the comment section or the live chat. Would you have spent $4.99 for that book and take a chance on it? All right, next up, another signed book. I sent issue #1 of this version of a comic to PGX last month. So I'm sending in issue #2 to EGS. So this is Civil War issue #2. This is the Aspen Turner variant. Absolutely love Michael Turner art. I mean, when he's got his game on, I mean, his art is absolutely gorgeous. And of course, art is speculative, so you may like his work, you may not. That's okay if you do, and it's okay if you don't. But this is double signed. It's going to be hard to... Well, actually, it's not that hard. There's Michael Turner, and I have a lot of his signatures. So, in my opinion, that looks very authentic, even though it does not have a COA. And, you know, a COA doesn't guarantee that it's authentic either. Keep that in mind. Anybody can print out a COA. But it also has, right there, a little bit easier to see, Peter Steigerwald. So it is double signed. These covers are a little bit thicker than the regular, you know, normal paper that kind of shrivels up a little bit. You ever see those wrinkly lines, especially in newer books? So these have big chances becoming 9.9s and 10s. Now, I'm not sure if that's the case because it's got a tiny, tiny microscopic, you probably won't even be able to see it. But when I say microscopic, I mean the very teeny tiny tip has a little bit of a dent. So that's going to keep it from being a 10 and a 9.9. But something like that, you could still get a 9.8. So I am going to say between a 9.4 to a 9.8. But this book otherwise is clean. And I love Michael Turner's signature. Both signatures, they're in great spots. Now, obviously, the Civil War movie has come and gone, but that does not take away from this being a great storyline. Obviously, if it wasn't a great storyline, they wouldn't have made a movie of it, even though the movie is not exactly the same as the comic. But still worth having, especially because Michael Turner is no longer of this earth. So to have a signature that you can no longer get, you have to get it from someone else. So, in other words, if you have a Michael Turner book that's signed, you will never, ever again have a yellow label from CGC, because unless they have a grading company in the afterlife, they do not do signature verification. So you'd never see another yellow label, well, with any company, obviously, yellow label. And since CGC does not do anything other than witness signatures, if you sent this book to CGC, you would get a green label that says writing on the cover. Or multiple writing. I don't know how they do it with multiple signatures. I think they would just say writing on the cover. And it would be a green qualified label, and it would be worth minimum of at least half of what it would be if you went to either CBCS, PGX, or here for EGS. So for me, this was a no-brainer. I spent a total of $80 on this book. Like I said, I think it's going to be between a 9.4 and a 9.8. that little tiny, like I said, it's not color break either. It's just like the very piece of the tip. And I'm sorry, I'm showing the wrong spot. But again, it's not color breaking. And it's even, I think the tip is kind of folded up a little bit. If that did not break color and that's pressable, could it get a 9.9? Who knows? I doubt it. But even if it got a 9.6 or a 9.4, I'll still be happy. So for 80 bucks, it was worth taking the chance on. Getting it verified for the signatures makes it that much more valuable to somebody. And who knows, you know, another 10 years, that book might be worth a heck of a lot more than it is now with reboots and remakes and things. You never know what happens. So for the prices I paid for these, I think they're worth taking the chance on. So those are the two books. I'm going to show my AI art again, and I also, as you can see on the screen, those are all books I'm looking to try and get trades for. If you haven't seen the video I did about a week or two ago about all the comics I am willing to trade for one or multiple of these books on the screen, please contact me. I would love to be able to get a book that I could normally not afford cash-wise, but have enough books to be able to trade. And I'll show you right now, because I think there's like 30 books that I'm willing to trade for. All right, I'm going to show you really quick. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to show you just 10 of the books right now as a thank you for the people coming to watch this video. So many people are going to miss this. I'm going to show you, and again, like I said, they're all graded. I'm going to show you 10 of the books of the 30 that I am willing to trade for some of those books, any and all, for some of the books that you see on the screen. I'm willing to trade an Amazing Spider-Man, number 129, graded 3.0. I'm willing to trade a 5.5 X-Men 94. I am willing to trade, and again, if I have to trade all of them to get one of these big keys, obviously I'm not going to overtrade if it's not worth it, but I'm saying if it takes all of the comics that I'm showing to get a book, I have no problem with that. Here's a 4.0 Submariner number 6. If it wasn't for the split, I believe, over here, there's a little bit of a... Oh, no, cover detached. That's what it is. There isn't a split. The cover's detached. If this was not cover detached, this would be a 7 or an 8. I mean, this book is gorgeous. But Submariner number 6, Alex Stromberg cover. 1.8, Strange Tales 110. First appearance of Doctor Strange. Now, I have multiple copies of all of these except for the Submariner number 6. That's why I'm willing to trade them. This is a 6.0 CGC Hulk 180. First appearance of Wolverine. Has the Marvel stamp. Now, keep in mind that is a cameo, but it is his first appearance. A 2.0 Amazing Spider-Man number 14. First appearance of the Green Goblin. 3.5 Giant Size X-Men number 1. Daredevil number 1 at a 1.8. First appearance of Daredevil. 1.5 Avengers number 1. First appearance of the Avengers. And I am willing to trade one of my Incredible Hulks 180s, 181s. 4.0 has the Marvel stamp. So those are just some of the books I am willing to trade to get some of those books that you see on the screen. And if it takes multiple of those books to get them, well, I'm willing to do it. So if you are, contact me. 2 people still watching, so most people don't care about my trades, but the 2 that are either bored out of their minds or very loyal fans, and I appreciate you either way. The surprise subscriber shout out today will go to Back Issue Bin. Welcome. I haven't seen you here in a while, but you are today's surprise subscriber shout out. So just like in the other video, if you want to send a link to one of your videos or your YouTube channel, you could post a link in the comments section. If you don't have that and you prefer to send a link to one of your social networks, you can do that instead. Or if you sell anything on, Amazon, eBay, any other place and you would rather send a link to one of your auctions or sales, you could do that instead. I'll leave it up to you. Like I say in every video, just keep in mind anything that you put in the comment section that involves a link will not show up right away because it does have to be verified by me. So this way I can guarantee that nobody will ever click on a link and it sends them somewhere to like a porn site or somewhere inappropriate. So if you do see a link, it means it has been verified. Go support the people. I guarantee you they appreciate it. You know, there are some channels out there that get less views than mine. I've seen some video channels where they'll get 5 or 6 views. And I guarantee you 5 people going and doubling their views would actually mean something to them. So let's send some love to people. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Back Issue Bin says, thank you, I'll do that. Much appreciated. You're welcome. Glad you're here. And it's my way, my minuscule way of saying thank you for what you're doing and taking the time to watch my videos. So let me know what you think about the AI art. Leave a comment after the beep. And do not forget, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. I got some comics I gotta go mail out. Have a wonderful day. Check out my other video if you haven't seen it already. Don't forget to use the discount codes and check out those comic mystery boxes. You will enjoy what you see. Because I'll tell you something real quick before I go. I saw a video just the other day of somebody that spent $3,000. And I'm not going to say who they are. Because I don't know them. Probably why I'm not going to say who they are. But I was watching a whole bunch of random comic book videos the other day. And I saw one where they bought $3,000 worth of graded comics. Now, it is my understanding that the person knew what they were buying. There were maybe 3 good books out of the, I think, 30 or so comics they bought. The rest of them were pretty much, you know, good luck getting rid of them for 20 bucks if you can. If that person would have spent the $3,000 or $2,500 on my mystery box, they would not have received one generic comic. And just because something's graded, even if it's a 9.8, doesn't mean it has value. You know, if you take, like I always use, let's say you have Strawberry Shortcake issue number 16, and it's a 9.8 from 1987. You think you're selling that for $12,000? You think you're selling that for $5,000? You think you're selling it for $50,000? Nobody cares. So, just because something's a 9.8, and even if it's a CGC 9.8, if the comic isn't worth anything, you're not spending through the nose. So, in my opinion, that person would have been better off using that money towards one major key. Now, to be fair, 2 of the books that the person did get were decent. Not great. And the person who sold it to him either misled the buyer or did not know, because they gave prices, which I easily verified, that were, for the 2 books alone, he said they were about $400 more than what I saw them sold for at the very grades that the person had. Now, it's up to the buyers to make sure they know about these things and do their research. But if that person would have spent $500 less on one of my comic book mystery boxes, they would have been 100 times happier. So hopefully you'll check out one of my mystery boxes. Give it a chance. Look at some of the videos. If you type in We Love Comics mystery box, there's about 4 to 6 videos out there, because not everybody makes videos, or not everybody wants to make videos, about the mystery box purchases. Every single one of them that made a video was very happy. And even the ones that weren't sure about the comics, if you see them, you'll see the value that they have for those books now, because I send books that are not garbage. I mean, let's keep it real. If somebody buys a $25 mystery box, you're not getting a Hulk 181. And I specifically say, if you're buying the cheapest, lowest tier, you're getting reader comics. Stuff if you love to read. But the bigger packages, you're getting good stuff. And I actually felt bad for that person that bought $3,000 worth of comics and didn't really know what they had as far as not having value, but wasn't even sure of himself. And I'm going to give my advice to any buyers out there of anything. Trust your instincts. If your instincts aren't dead on, spot on, this is a deal I have to make, don't do it. Because there are always going to be other opportunities out there. And to me, that person, the 2 books that were worth anything, He'll probably be able to sell them if he sold them today. Now, obviously, anything can change in the future. They can go up or down depending on situations. But neither one of them were 9.8s. One was an 8.0 and another was a 9.2. And I'm not trying to bash this person. I'm just trying to have it as a learning lesson because I actually feel bad for this person. Because the 8.0 book, I checked, the highest it sold for was $580. The other book, I forget, but I think was about $800, give or take, the highest. So that means that of the $3,000 of purchases, this person will be lucky to make about $1,500. Again, things can change in time, but it could go down as well as up. The other books, if it was me personally, and somebody was trying to sell me that bundle of comics, and I knew ahead of time what they were, because the person said in the video that they were shown the books, so it wasn't a mystery package. If somebody approached me with those books, I don't care what they said the value was, because they had prices on them. They were selling them for each $100 a piece, for example. It came out to an average of about $60 to $65 a piece for these books. And 85% of them, be lucky if he lost only half the money he spent. But if it was me, I would have said, I'll give you $700 for the entire bundle. And if the person laughed or said no, I would say, thank you, good luck selling those. The idea is get rid of the emotion, especially if you don't know or you're unaware of what you're paying for. Don't just roll the dice in hopes that you'll win. Because like with Russian roulette, it only takes that one chance of finding the bullet to end the game. And I try and stress this so much when it comes to investing in anything. Know what you're doing, and don't be afraid to walk away from a sale, even if it's something you absolutely wanted, because there will always be other opportunities down the line. The question you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to wait the time that it may take to reacquire the chance of getting one? And that's why you see with my comics, I get deal after deal after deal after deal on some very valuable comics. Now, I don't own an Action Comics #1. I don't own a Batman #1. I don't have books like that nature. But the Hulk 181s, the Fantastic Four #48s, books in that realm, my World Finest #2, I'm able to make deals, even where deals were not available. Because like I said, one of the books that I sent to PGX, they had it listed for $1,500. There was no best offer. I contacted them and made the offer. The worst that they could say is no. But sometimes they say yes. So if you have something that you're looking to buy, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whether it's trading cards or comic books, even if it's something you absolutely want, if it's not a deal you feel comfortable with, walk away or try and make a better deal. And if they're not willing to be flexible, walk away. Because I promise you, the person that sold those comics for $3,000 felt very happy that day that they got rid of 85% of their junk that will not sell, even though they were CGC 9.8s. And again, I'm not bashing this person. I feel bad for this person because they genuinely, and the funny thing is, on the wall, they have a comic book wall. They have some amazing comics on their wall. Amazing. So this person isn't some newbie. And in the video, they even said themselves on several times they did not feel comfortable. They were unsure of the purchase. I think the title of the video, which is what attracted me to see it, is Did I Just Make a Mistake? If you're thinking that when you're about to make a purchase, walk away. I have many books that I have made offers that I wanted to acquire and would love to own, but I'm not willing to overspend. I'm not paying current value for a book unless it's something where I know it's going to double in price in the next 5 years. I'm going to pay about half, if I can, of its value. And if I can't get it, and it's out of the range of where I think I would be willing to pay, I walk away and look another day. And another day could turn into another week. It could take another month. It could take another year. But I'm willing to do that to make sure I get the deals that will help me and not hinder me. Because if you have a CGC 9.8 Ragged Ann and Andy number 23 that has no significance whatsoever other than the fact it's a 9.8 and nobody wants it, it doesn't matter what you paid for it. You're going to have to give it away in some bundle like that person sold in a bundle. They put 2 really good comics and maybe 3 or 4 okay comics, because the others were I think early Thors, but they weren't anything of significance, and they were mid to lower grade. So it wasn't for example, it wasn't, a Thor issue that didn't really have much value, but it was a 9.6. They were 3s and 5s, between 3s and 5s. You're giving your money away. And especially, if you're somebody that has a trust fund and you have millions of dollars and you're willing to throw away a couple of grand because it means nothing, yeah, that's great. I wish I had that problem. But if you're somebody that's financially struggling or financially on the side of, I really can't afford to take this chance, but I can if I have to, if it's worth it. For example, my Hulk number 1. At the time, I didn't have the money to buy it, even though it's a low-grade book. It's a 1.0. Some will say it's a 0.5. I'm not here to debate it. I've already gone over why I believe the 1.0 was the actual correct grade, even though it could have been also given a 0.5. I wouldn't have been mad either way. But it did justify a 1.0. I had to borrow the money to be able to make that purchase, because I knew it was worth it. Because I was, even at the grade, even if it was a 0.5, I was spending about $1,000 less than what it currently was worth. And books like that are only going to continue to go up. But if that was at the value of what it's worth, I would not have taken the chance on it. So you have to know when to walk away. Leave the emotion out of investing. That is why there are more people who will fail than succeed when it comes to investing, because instead of researching, instead of the knowledge of knowing what you're going to spend your hard-earned money on, and taking away the peer pressure from others and the emotion of the desire to want something that everybody else has, or maybe nobody else has, should not be interfering with your ability to make intelligent decisions and trust your instincts. So if your instincts say, I don't feel comfortable to make this deal, or I'm unsure, you shouldn't do it. Your instincts are there to protect you. And that is why, if you watch my videos, and they're all up there since 2017, even though I shut down my original channel, you will see more often than not, I can make money on books than lose money. I don't always get everything right, and there are plenty of books that I bought where the prices have gone down to where I make less profit, or I sold them too early, like I said before with in my other video, my Ultimate Fallout 4 1 in 25 variant, which I absolutely love that cover. I so regretted selling it even when I was selling it. But that book I spent, with grading, I think I paid about $125 for a CGC graded 9.8 that I sent into CGC before pressing was even a knowledgeable thing to me. And I sold it between $1,000 and $1,400. So yeah, I made a good profit, but that book now is worth about $10,000 to $12,000. Hindsight is always 20/20. But I don't really regret it in the sense of I didn't lose money. I just didn't make as much as I could have. Because I'm willing to walk away from a deal if it's not a deal for me. It's got to be mutual if you want to succeed. If you just want to own a book, this is what I tell you. Why spend more for that book when you don't have to? If it's not not for nothing, you're not going to starve to death if you don't own a comic. You'll starve to death if you don't have food. So you don't need a comic or anything like that. You're buying it because you want it. It's a want, not a need. So you should not treat a want as if it were a need. In other words, I have to have it. If the opportunity is there, I've been looking for months, I've been looking for years, and this is the first one, so I'm just going to buy it. You know, if you want it because it has nostalgia or you think it has value to you on a different level other than financial, that's great, but why spend more money on it? Why spend $1,000 when you can get it for $500? Because then you could use that $500 to get something else you might want or need. To me, it just makes no sense. And I want to try and educate people to think in a different way than what the average peer pressure channel that sells anything. I'm not just talking comic books. Get out of the mindset of following the herd. There's a reason why it only takes one shepherd and one sheepdog to be able to guide hundreds of sheep to their slaughter. Because they'll just follow blindly, without question. Don't be one of those people. And that is exactly why there are 8 people watching my channel right now. Other channels will tell you what you want to hear, give you all the, all the dog poop in a nice rainbow package sealed up with a bow, because they'll make plenty of money off you and they'll get plenty of views, but they're not really guiding you in the right direction. They're not helping to educate you. They're just like, well, if you want to be cool, follow us cool people. Give in to the peer pressure. That makes no sense when it comes to your ability to feed your family or just yourself. Be smart if you're going to invest. If you're buying comics just to read them, then it doesn't matter. Like, for example, if somebody cannot afford a Hulk 181, and they'll never be able to afford it, and they've just decided, no matter what, I'm not going to think of any other way to try and get a Hulk 181, even though I can do a trade, or maybe I could do a barter with somebody, maybe I do roof repair, and somebody may not have the cash to get the roof repaired, but they have a comic that I would want, and I'd say, hey, you give me that Hulk 181, I'll repair your roof. Well, you didn't spend any money, and you got the thing you wanted. So you don't really have to do things exclusively like, well, if I don't have the money, I can't get it. That's why you see on the scrolling screen, those are all books I want to get. Those are all, as of now, out of my price range. But I could acquire them if the right person wants to make a trade for some of the books that just 10 of them I just showed you just a few minutes ago. So do whatever makes you happy. You want to overspend on books? You want to concentrate just on 9/8s because they're the only thing that's important to you? God bless you. But if you spend $1,000 on a 9.8 and it's worth $1,000, where do you go from there? You better hope it doubles in another year or two. You better hope you know that that book is going in an upward direction and not already at its peak or, close to its peak. Or maybe it's ready to go down. Or even still, maybe all of a sudden there's an economic collapse. Whereas people just don't have the money to spend. And they can't afford a $1,000 book anymore. Because who wouldn't want to have an Action Comics #1 and a 9.8? Doesn't exist. But just imagine if you were the sole owner of a Action Comics #1 at a 9.8. That book would probably be worth $50 million, $100 million. How many people would be able to have that money to pay for it? How many people would be willing to take the chance on it? These are the things people need to think of. So, to the 6 people that were kind enough to stick around to hear my rant, I would love to hear if you would take the time and comment about the things you've heard here. If you've watched the entire video, tell me in the comment section you are one of my power viewers. I haven't done this in a while, because if you're a power viewer, it means you watch a video from beginning to end. If you're an ultra power viewer, you are a person that every time you see one of my videos, you watch it from beginning to end. Now, there's no way I can verify it, nor do I care. If somebody wants to be dishonest and say they're a power viewer, that's great. But if you are, put it out there. Let me know what you think about the things I talk about. And see that I have a love for comics, but I also have a love for educating people into thinking a different way to help themselves get out of the narrative that you have to be within the quote-unquote in crowd to succeed. It's ridiculous. Be a leader, not a follower. Many people throughout history that have made changes for the better of the world have done it by themselves, with majority of the people bashing them along the way until somebody realizes that they were right. Now, I'm never going to put me in the category of anybody like that. I am a little too humble to ever think that I am making that kind of impact or on any level even close to somebody that made a world-changing event. But if I can change your world into thinking a different way of investing, it helps you succeed. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I didn't ask you for a darn thing for it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.